What's up guys, it's JGB Gaming here, and today we have the 16th episode of our Cambridge United Road to Glory, and to start this episode off, we have our Premier League game against Manchester City. We will continue to line up in our 3-5-2. Man City will be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding. In the third minute of the game, Insaldi is in behind the defense. He crosses it into Abraham as Abraham smashes the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 29th minute, Man City get the ball inside the box, then Dunker slides and misses before their player is able to curl it into the back of the net, leveling the game at 1-1. In stoppage time of the first half, Ederson punches out a corner. Lopez then passes it to Hendricks, who gets the ball. He turns and shoots right upper 90 to put us up 2-1 just before halftime. In the 61st minute, Abraham passes the ball to Cucurella. Man City do not step it to him as he shoots the ball in the back of the net, putting us up now 3-1. In the 69th minute, Cucurella plays Abraham in behind the defense. He uses his pace before he opens his hips and curls it around Ederson to put us up 4-1. In the 78th minute, Man City have a corner. It gets crossed in. We can't properly clear it before Skriniar puts it in the back of the net, making the score now 4-2. We would go on to score another goal after that Skriniar goal, as we went on to win the game 5-2, and it was definitely a game that we deserved to win, as we get a crucial 3 points in the league. After that win against Manchester City, we are now 6 points clear of them, as we have 64 points and they have 58 points, as if we can keep this up, we will go on to win the league. Looking now at the transfers that I want to have happen for next season, I am looking at bringing in De Ligt, Upamecano, and Fabian, all on free contracts. We were able to get De Ligt on a free contract. We were also able to get Fabian to agree, as well as Upamecano. As we have a lot of extra money at the club, I am looking to bring in some players for next season, and the first player I'm looking at is Kai Havertz, and the second player I'm looking at is Frenkie de Jong. We were able to buy Kai Havertz, as we bought him for $160 million. We were also able to buy Frenkie de Jong for $125 million from Barcelona. We now host Barcelona in the first leg. I have not made any changes to the starting lineup as we continue to line up in that 3-5-2. Barcelona will be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding, and they have De Jong, who we just bought, so hopefully he does not knock us out. In the 6th minute, De Jong fails to complete the pass before he makes a run in behind the defense, and he shoots and scores to put Barcelona up 1-0 early. Just a couple of minutes later, Abraham plays Lopez in behind the defense, as he is then able to put the ball in the back of the net to tie the game at 1-1. In the 17th minute, we are working the ball around before Lopez plays Isak in behind the defense, and he chips it over Ter Stegen as we go up 2-1. In the 24th minute, Barcelona are working the ball around the edge of the box before De Jong makes another brilliant run and he puts the ball in the back of the net to make the game 2-2. In the 57th minute, Isak plays Abraham before Abraham backhills it back to Isak, and he shoots and scores to put us up 3-2. In the 67th minute, Gordson plays Isak in behind the defense as he uses his pace to get past the defender and then put the ball in the back of the net to put us up 4-2. In the 72nd minute, Barcelona work the ball on the edge of our box before De Jong plays it to his teammate, who beats Diaz near post to put the score now at 4-3. At full time, the score would be 4-3. We were able to get the win, however, those 3 away goals for Barcelona could prove important. We now travel to the Camp Nou for the second leg of the Champions League tie. Barcelona will again line up in their 4-3-3 holding. We will again be lining up in this 3-5-2. The only changes I have made is I've put Log at right mid, as Insaldi has been moved to striker as Abraham is out injured. In the 13th minute, De Jong is dribbling before he plays it into Martinez. He squares it across to Dembele, who puts it in the open net to put Barcelona up at 1-0 early in the game. In the 26th minute, Insaldi gets the ball. He uses his pace to beat the defense, and he curls it around Ter Stegen to level the game at 1-1. In the 37th minute, Barcelona are working the ball on the edge of our box before Martinez gets open and then puts it past Diaz to put Barcelona up 2-1. In the 41st minute, Barcelona working the ball on the edge of our box before Martinez finds Dembele in behind the defense as he shoots and scores, making the score now 3-1. In the 56th minute, De Jong is dribbling at our defense. He plays it out wide. The ball is then crossed in as Martinez wins the header and puts it in the back of the net to put Barcelona up 4-1. In the 84th minute, Barcelona have the ball out wide. It's played into De Jong. De Jong finds a wide open man in the box as he puts the ball in the back of the net, putting Barcelona up 5-1. At full time, Barcelona would go on to win 5-1 as they were definitely the more dominant team. After that tough loss to Barcelona, it does mean that we are knocked out of the Champions League. We made it to the round of 16, however, I feel like we definitely could have made it further. We now have to shake off that tough loss to Barcelona as we travel to the Emirates Stadium to face Arsenal in the Premier League. Arsenal will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. For this game, I am trying out something new as I have switched us to a 4-2-3-1 narrow as I look to have the team possess the ball more. In the 34th minute, Martinelli gets the ball out wide before he sauces up our defenders and puts the ball in the back of the net to put Arsenal up 1-0. In the 53rd minute, Arsenal are working the ball on the edge of our box. Hendricks misjudges the ball as Martial gets the ball and puts it in the back of the net to put Arsenal up 2-0. In the 80th minute, the referee is approaching one of our players as he ends up giving a red card to Hendricks for this challenge. I don't think it was a red card, it might have been a yellow card, but it does not matter as we cannot change the referee's decision. Joshua Kimmich will step up to take the free kick after that Jansen red card as he puts it over and around the wall to put Arsenal up 3-0. At full time, Arsenal would go on to win 3-0, and I definitely will not be using the 4-2-3-1 narrow again. After two tough losses in a row, we now travel to Wembley Stadium as we face Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final. For this game, I have decided to have us line up in a 4-1-3-2 as Hendricks is out injured, so Wog will be playing right back as we have Dendoncker and Jensen at center backs, Cucurella at left back, Torreira at defensive mid, Gordson, Lopez, and Insaldi in the midfield with Isak and Abraham up top. Manchester City will be lining up in that 4-3-3 holding. In the 39th minute, Gordson is dribbling the ball out wide before he crosses it into Lopez, who chips it right over Ederson to put us up 1-0. In the 45th minute, Gordson is played in behind the defense. He then gets the ball inside the 18 and shoots it near post past Ederson to put us up 2-0. At full time, it would be a 2-0 win for us. That 2-0 win against Manchester City means that we will advance to the FA Cup final. And in that FA Cup final, we will be facing Manchester United. We now have a game against Newcastle United, and if we are able to win this game, it means that we will be Premier League champions. We now host Newcastle United in a possible title clinching game. We will continue to line up in this 4-1-3-2. Newcastle United will be lining up in a 4-4-2. At full time, it would be a 0-0 draw. The players are now celebrating as they all realize that we have officially won the league and that the league is over. They put in a lot of hard work for all of these games, and they definitely deserve to be celebrating. The players now line up to go to the trophy. Torreira, our captain, will be the one to lift the trophy. Torreira picks up the trophy, and he lifts up the trophy as we go on to win the Premier League. There's the team picture as Cambridge United are now Premier League champions. We now travel to Wembley Stadium as we have the FA Cup final against Manchester United. Manchester United will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. One of their center backs is Upamecano, and he is one of the players that we signed on a free contract. We will be sticking with that 4-1-3-2. In the 37th minute, Abraham gets the ball before he plays Isak in behind the defense as he shoots and beats De Gea to put us up 1-0. In the 70th minute, Manchester United work the ball on the edge of our box before their player then gets the ball and shoots the ball in the back of the net to tie the game at 1-1. After 90 minutes, it is currently 1-1 as we will now head into extra time. At the end of extra time, it is still 1-1, which means we will now be heading into penalties. This is the order that we will be taking our penalties in. we will have Itzik going first, then Lopez, then Abraham, then Saldi, then Gordson, then Hendricks, and then Donker. Marcus Rashford steps up to take the penalty, and he sends Diaz the wrong way, putting Manchester United up 1-0. Itzik, we now look to put it bottom left corner, as we do, as it is now level at 1-1. Gardner now steps up. He shoots the ball over the crossbar. As if we score this goal, we will have a 2-1 advantage, as Lopez steps up to put it right upper 90. And he does, which means we currently hold the 2-1 advantage. Alphonso Davies now steps up to take the penalty. He sends Diaz the wrong way, leveling it at 2-2. Tammy Abraham now steps up as we look to put it top left corner. And we are able to do so as we are now at 3-2. Vargas now steps up for Manchester United, and Diaz is able to save it. And Saldi now steps up from the spot, and if he is able to convert this penalty, we will win the FA Cup. We have to go right down the middle. De Gea unfortunately does not move, as it now is all in the hands of Diaz, as if he can save this penalty, we will win the FA Cup. And their player completely misses as we go on to win the FA Cup, thanks to Diaz, as he jumps the board to celebrate with the fans. At full time, we would win 3-2 on penalties against Manchester United to win the FA Cup. The players are loving it. I'm loving it, as we get another important piece of silverware. We definitely did not have an easy road to get to the final. However, it also wasn't a hard road. The players now get in line to celebrate with the trophy, as our captain Torreira will be the one to lift it. Torreira now picks up the trophy, and he lifts it in celebration, as we are now FA Cup champions. There's the team picture of Cambridge United, the FA Cup champions. After the season is done, we will now look at how we did in all of the competitions, and in the Premier League, we were able to win the Premier League as we had 101 points. Looking at the players with the most assists in the Premier League, Gordson tied for second with 10, and Lopez tied for third with 9. Looking at the goalkeepers who kept the most clean sheets, Diaz was able to come in third as he kept 18 clean sheets in 37 games. Looking at the players who got the most yellow cards, Torreira tied for second as he had 6 yellow cards in 28 games. Our first piece of silverware for the season was the Community Shield as we beat Manchester City 3-1. As for the FA Cup, we beat Manchester United on penalties to win it. Gordson was tied for the top goal scorer in the FA Cup. In the Carabao Cup, we were easily able to win it as we beat Leeds United 2-0 in the final. Jansen tied for first as he had a red card. As far as European competitions went, we were able to win the UEFA Super Cup as we beat Atletico Madrid 2-1. In the Champions League, we were knocked out in the round of 16 by Barcelona. Despite being knocked out in the round of 16, Itzik was able to tie for the top goal scorer as he had 11 goals in 7 games. Looking now at our squad overall, Diaz was able to have the most appearances as he had 59, then Donker had 53, and Itzik had 52. Looking now at our top goal scorers, Itzik was able to have 31 goals, Gordson was able to have 23 goals, and Abraham had 15 goals. As for assists, Gordson had 18 assists, Abraham and Lopez had 13 assists, and Cucurella had 12 assists. Diaz was the player who kept the most clean sheets as he had 25 clean sheets kept. Lopez and Dendoncker had 19, Jansen, Gordson, and Cucurella had 18. Looking at our players with the highest overall, Gordson is by far our best player at the club as he is now a 96 overall, Lopez is a 90 overall, and Hendricks and Cucurella are both 89 overalls. Looking now at our players who had the highest overall change, Quiroga came in first, and Jackson came in second, These were the 2 youth players I was using for our youth academy achievements, so that is why they increased by so much. Alan Brown was the only player on the team whose overall went down, as he went down 2 overall and is now a 76 overall, as he is starting to get older. Looking at our players with the highest market value, Gordson has a $233.5 million value, Lopez has a $132 million value, Hendricks has a $111 million value, and Jansen has a $104 million value. Just as a reminder of the players who are joining us next season, we will have Kai Havertz, Frankie de Jong, Matthias de Ligt, Fabian, and Upamecano joining us next season. I have sold 2 players in Bello and James, as they are youth players who just do not have high enough potentials. Looking at our club financially, the club is currently now worth $1.94 billion, with a projection of being worth $2.76 billion. Looking at our overall resume now, we are still with Cambridge United. We have won now 4 league titles. We have won 4 domestic cups. We have won 1 Continental Cup. Our biggest win and biggest defeat did not change. Our record transfer fee is $86 million. We have played a total of 485 games. We have won 338. We've drawn 75. We have lost 72. We have scored 941 goals while only conceding 465. Looking at this 2026-2027 season specifically, the club wanted us to finish in a Champions League place, and we did that by winning the league. They wanted us to reach the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, which we did, as we also went on to win it. They wanted us to reach the semi-final of the Champions League, which we did not do, as we got knocked out in the round of 16. We went on to win the Super Cup, and we also won the Community Shield. We never won Manager of the Month or Manager of the Year. The highest transfer fee that we paid was for Itzik of $86 million. The highest transfer fee that we received was for Drummond of $118 million. We played 60 games, we won 51, we drew 6, we lost 3, we scored 139 goals while only conceding 56 goals. Thank you all for watching. The next episode of this series should be coming out in 3 days. And it's JTB Gaming, signing off.